in which we discussed a host of issues of mutual interest. We talked about bilateral trade, we talked about investments. Luxembourg is a small European country, but it is an important financial center of Europe. We also discussed Pakistan's interest in the European Union and how we can further promote our relationship with the European Union and how we can see the next summit-level engagement between Pakistan and the European Union. We had a discussion on areas of interest to Pakistan. I gave the Foreign Minister of Pakistan's point of view and the steps we had taken on the FATF and the commitments that Pakistan is trying to fulfill. I also shared with the Minister Pakistan's position on the nuclear supplies group and our interest there. We also discussed the regional situation. I gave him the views and the developments, recent developments that have taken place on the western side in Afghanistan vis-a-vis peace and reconciliation, and the minister has just come from Afghanistan. He's met the leadership there. He's been exposed to the conditions over there, and I've shared him Pakistan's perspective. I also discussed with the minister the situation, the recent situation in the region post the Pulwama incident, and gave him an overview of Pakistan's position and what we stand for and the steps that Pakistan has taken to de-escalate and diffuse tensions within the region and promote peace. So I welcome you again and thank you for visiting us.
Thank you, dear colleague, dear Minister Qureshi, for this warm hospitality. It's the first time that I am in this big country, number 6 concerning population in the world, and I am very honored to be received here with my delegation and also with journalists from Luxembourg. So the first thing I wanted to say is that we have shown solidarity with the people of Pakistan in the past. We tried to show it. Luxembourg has provided substantial humanitarian assistance in the aftermath of the strong earthquake which hit northern Pakistan in 2005. And I remember very well, it was the year of our presidency of the European Union at this time, and the same response after the massive floods which devastated large parts of Pakistan in 2010. Recognizing the huge burden caused by the significant number of Afghan refugees living in Pakistan. At a certain moment, more than 4.5 million Afghans lived here. Luxembourg has also been supporting the operation of the UNHCR in support of refugees and displaced people in Pakistan. Since 2010, dear colleague, Luxembourg support to Pakistan has reached about 6 million euros. With Minister Qureshi, we have agreed that we can increase and deepen our trade and economic relations in the future. On migration, I must tell you that yes, the burden sharing and how to address waste migratory movements and refugees in protected solutions. We know in Europe what migration means, but you here in this country, you know it also, as I said, above all from Afghanistan. We try to address the issue and to help integrate asylum seekers, but also to provide the best possible outcome to those who don't qualify for for international protection. And we spoke about this, and I think that everybody understood that here we need a very good and a positive cooperation. The new EU-Pakistan strategic engagement plan in its final stages is in its final stages of adoption, and it is foreseen that maybe in a few months before the elections, the European Parliament, Madame Mogherini will be here in your country, and you try to settle this new strategic plan. We expect the plan to be signed, as I said, at the occasion of the next strategic dialogue between the European Union and Pakistan, which is expected at the end of March, as I said, here in Islamabad. Jammu and Kashmir, the Minister explained me and our delegation his view, and I can only say that the whole international community has expressed serious concerns about the recent dangerous escalation of tension between India and Pakistan following the 14th February attack in Jammu and Kashmir and the downing of two Indian aircrafts. And really, I have stressed that it is of utmost importance to de-escalate the situation, and the Minister agreed with me. We said both the same thing, and in this regard, we highly welcome the gesture of Prime Minister Khan to return the Indian pilot immediately to India, and I will thank the Prime Minister when we meet later today. The world, I think, is already witnessing too many conflicts. No one wants to see an armed conflict between Pakistan and India. The EU has stressed that it stands ready to strengthen its cooperation and dialogue and on counter-terrorism, both India and with Pakistan. On Afghanistan, yes, we just had been in Afghanistan 2 days ago. The most important neighbor, I think, of Afghanistan is Pakistan. And we appreciate the efforts of all international and regional actors who try to bring the conflicting parties to the negotiation table. We believe that Pakistan has a very important influence in this regard, and that this is an historical moment to use its leverage to deliver peace in the region. Dialogue between the Afghan government and the Taliban should start as soon as possible, really to try to find solutions. We have information, when we had been in Kabul, that this is an ongoing process in Bura, and really this could bring a radical change if there is a positive result in Afghanistan and also in the interest of Pakistan. So we welcome also Pakistan's efforts to facilitate talks between the US and the Taliban, and I encouraged, if I can say, Minister Qureshi to continue this engagement in support of Afghan peace, which will bring benefits in terms of regional security. On religion, last word, Christians and Hindus make up the largest minority groups in Pakistan, which is overwhelmingly Muslim. We have witnessed that Pakistan's Christians, like other religious minorities in the country, can be the target of escalating attacks in recent years. The EU is concerned that the space for religious minorities might be shrinking, but as the Minister told me, the biggest number of victims are not Christians or Hindus, but are Muslims. So the EU is engaging with the Pakistani authorities on promoting the issue of tolerance between freedom and religion. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Excellency. We'll take a few quick questions, Chief, please. The question is for?
From visiting Foreign Minister. Thank you, sir. Hamza Rahman is here from Associated Press of Pakistan. And on behalf of my Pakistani media colleagues, I formally welcome you in Pakistan, to you and your media team as well here. So my question is that recent regional situation is very troubling, and regional peace has been challenged by Pakistani neighbor India. You have very well mentioned that Pakistan's efforts to defuse the situations. My question is that how Luxembourg sees Pakistan's roles to defuse the situation, and what the role your country can play in this regard. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Our role can only be played in the European Union. I think we are, in the European Union, as a lot of countries in Europe, a promoter of stability in this region. I think that what I said, I have nothing to add. The world cannot really, the world has to avoid a conflict, an armed conflict between India and Pakistan at this moment. I think in the past you had 4 wars. The last war was in 1999. So really this escalation from both sides, spontaneously from your side here in Pakistan with the release of the pilot, and I think also that the Lady Minister of Foreign Affairs in India said the same, that India has no interest to escalate the situation. And therefore, as European Union, we can only help both sides really to start a dialogue around the table and try to find a solution. I know that it is not only about terrorism, but maybe that the Prime Minister of Pakistan is right, that the Nobel Prize will be for the man or for the women who can find a solution on Kashmir.
Thank you very much, Excellency, from Luxembourg. Hello, Riyasat Aur Awam from Luxembourg. My question would go to both of you. You have been talking about the fact that we might deepen relations, or that you would like to deepen relations on an economic basis with Luxembourg and Pakistan. My question to you, are there any precise examples, and if so, are there conditions to that cooperation? Thank you.
Conditions to the cooperation.
Cooperation, are there any conditions to this cooperation, developing economic cooperation? Some specifics.
Well, as the Minister said, that Luxembourg is part of the European Union. European Union is very important to Pakistan, our major trading partner. We have a lot of Pakistanis living in Europe. They're contributing to the economic development of Europe. We are in the process of negotiating a new strategic engagement plan with the European Union. So we have a deep interest in the European Union, and obviously Luxembourg is part of the European Union. We feel there's a lot of potential for investments in Pakistan. There's a lot of potential for enhanced bilateral trade and European trade and Pakistani trade. So I see a lot of potential ahead, and we would encourage further engagement and interaction with all European countries. And I shared with the Foreign Minister that on the 12th, I'm expecting the Foreign Minister of the largest European economy, Germany, to Islamabad.
From my point of view, maybe you know, that we have now an ambassador here in Pakistan, Mark Hübsch, who is the ambassador in China, but China is a smaller country, so he can do it in both sides. That's number one. Number two, I think everything in Europe on trade depends on the quality of the agreement that we will find Pakistan and the European Union. And number three, we have 186 Pakistan people in Luxembourg. So our numbers are not with a lot of zeros, but only the three first, so 187. In Pakistan, I think you have 205 million people living, so 187 live in Luxembourg. But there is one point on the green bonds. We spoke briefly this morning on green bonds that could be interesting for Pakistan, and the Pakistani ambassador in Brussels will have contact with us in Luxembourg. We'll explain him the system, and maybe here it could be a start for the new ambassador to bring something on the paper.
Thank you very much, Excellency. Bagra Sahab, PTV, Pakistan Television.
Thank you, Minister. My question is with Foreign Minister that, as you rightly pointed out, that Luxembourg is one of the very country which is small but economic hub in the European Union. So, any concrete steps which have been discussed during your visit about enhancing bilateral relations, especially with focus on trade and investment?
Yes, we discussed a number of potential areas for investments, and I'll share them with you: infrastructure and communication technology, health sector, clean energy, environment, and gem and jewelry. They have the expertise, and we have excellent stones, so there can be a mutual interest in that.
Last question, please, from Luxembourg.
Thank you. Patrick Watts from RTL Television in Luxembourg. Question to both foreign ministers. Getting back to the tensions, recent tensions in regard to Jammu Kashmir, and mediation efforts by the UN have been refused in the past. But could you maybe imagine the EU taking over a mediation role, as the UN is segmented into blocks, which is probably not as neutral as it could be, but the EU would be a much more neutral mediator in this conflict, and maybe with the aim of getting an approach done and getting the two neighbors closer together.
Well, Pakistan would welcome any mediation from the European Union. Pakistan has written to the Secretary General of the UN. I've also written to the President of the Security Council, asking them to play a role in diffusing the situation and helping us de-escalate. They have a responsibility. Jammu and Kashmir is on the UN agenda. There are a number of Security Council resolutions that remain unimplemented, so they have a responsibility. I am grateful to the role played by the European Union in helping de-escalate. We welcome that, and if the Europeans can mediate, Pakistan would welcome it. India has always preferred bilateralism, but unfortunately, they have shied away from bilateralism as well. When a third party approaches them, they say, no, we've got to do it bilaterally. And when we engage them, and they say, no, we are not ready for an engagement. So, Pakistan would welcome a third party facilitation, and if the European Union can do it, so be it.
Okay, that was clear. Sometimes, Minister, we have to, in the European Union, we have to mediate between us to find a way. Okay. But if this is a request, and if I think in the European Union nobody would refuse a role to mediate between India and Pakistan, or Pakistan and India, I want to precise that the mediation potential of the EU will not be strong enough to solve